This is a 2008 Chevrolet HHR, and we're going to replace the headlights in it. Let's get to it. This 2008 Chevy HHR, the headlights don't just come out. You've got to remove this whole bumper cover, which is not that hard. There's 4 bolts, 7mm bolts in the front on either side of the radiator. There's 4 under the bottom, inside the fender wells and under the bottom. And then there's 8 clips, these push pins. You got to get these 8 push pins out, and I think there's one little bolt down here inside. We should be able to just drop this bumper cover down and replace these. There's also some little clips in here. We've got this plastic trim tool that should be able to push right in and pop those little clips loose. If not, we'll use a small screwdriver, but they're kind of hard to see, but I think there's 2 here. Maybe 3, and then 2 here. And then we ordered our lights, of course, from Amazon. These are Eagle Eyes, and they did not come from the recommended source on Amazon. These were the ones that took a little bit longer to get here. And the reason we ordered this brand is customer reviews mainly. You can't always go with the best seller on Amazon that's in Prime, because you really need to read the customer reviews. These have been damaged a little bit, so I'm anxious to get these open and see how destroyed they are. FedEx, in our neighborhood, they like to throw it off the truck as they're driving by. They don't even like to slow down, so my gas tank that came from FedEx for the Disco Nova was mangled beyond repair, and I'm sure that's not changed any. We need to get these open and see what they look like. Okay, we've got our left and our right headlight. And again, what I was talking about earlier, the reason I got these, if you read the customer reviews on the Amazon's Choice, everybody that says as soon as they plug the Amazon's Choice ones in, the lights blow, the bulbs blow. And they might last a day, they might last a week. But these were a little more expensive, but there were no negative customer reviews. Now, Amazon's Choice, if it's selling good, Amazon's algorithm will push the negative reviews all the way to the bottom. So even though there's going to be hundreds of negative reviews, you may not see them because it's selling really good, because it's maybe just $10 or $15 cheaper. So we got these. We went through all the customer reviews. They were a little bit more expensive. They're not China, they're Taiwan. And if they're Taiwan, more than likely they're probably the same lights that's in the car in the first place, because a lot of this stuff is imported that's used. And it says the lights, nobody had any complaints with the lights. The bulbs are the same. If not, everybody said they were always brighter, but they're always going to be brighter because the lens is clear. So don't always pick the first pick that pops up on Amazon, especially if it's Prime, because it may not necessarily be the best. It's just the one that's just selling the best, probably because it's a couple dollars cheaper and it's got Prime delivery. We had to wait a couple extra days on these, but hopefully it'll be worth it. We shouldn't have as much problems as the people that were getting the Prime deliveries, the Amazon's Choice ones. So be aware of that. Always read your reviews. And remember that Amazon will always push the negative reviews to the bottom if it's selling good. So try to scroll down as far as you can on the reviews and do your research. Everything you get is probably going to be from China. This just happened to be from Taiwan. Taiwan makes good stuff. They make good tools. Let's see how they do on headlights. Something I didn't mention a while ago is there's some marker lights. They'll have to be unpinned whenever you get this loose. And then the whole thing just drops off onto the floor. You can see these little clips that held it in there. They got little notches on them. You have to put a screwdriver in and just kind of push those clips down. Be careful of the trim. Put tape on it if you want to. This car needs painted anyway, so I wasn't really too much worried about the paint. But this light here is busted all to pieces. And really, the clips, that's got a big dent in it. I don't know if we'll be able to get that other light back in here without bending this fender. But there's only 2 bolts holds it on the bottom. You pull those 2 bolts out and the clips in the top should slide right down and out. And we'll see that here in a minute as we start pulling it apart. Looks like they're 10mm bolts. Let me get something to take these 10mm out. Okay, we got the first headlight out. If you look up in there, you'll see some little tabs. Of course, we got the headlight unplugged and the marker light unplugged. But on the very top, there's these tabs. And these tabs will slide right up into these. There's some slots in here, it's hard to see. Ouch. There's one there and one there. And we'll plug the headlight up and then we'll slide it right up into this cavity. This headlight's installed, slid up into its mounts, and the 2 mounting bolt, 10mm mounting bolts bolted in. Fender's a little bit bent, but it went on up in there. The other one's going to be the struggle because it's the fender being bent's what busted the headlight, so we may have to do a little massaging on it. This one's in, and we'll see what the next one looks like. There it is. The bumper cover's back on. You got 8 little 7mm bolts. You got 4 10mm bolts that holds the headlights in, and then you've got 8 little push pins. The little push pins hold your inner fenders in and hold this to the bottom. Put your headlights on bright, so they're pretty level. I had to adjust one of them because it didn't sit right in its mount. Dim. Yeah, looks like they're pretty even. The bar is anyway. We've got lights. New lights. I ran into one of the little issues. Alright, you can shade off. I ran into an issue with one of the headlight adjusters. I was pushing the plug in on the back of it and I actually pushed it off of its adjustment pin, so I had to take the light apart and put it back on its pin. It wasn't that hard. That's why I had to readjust it, because I had to move that adjustment pin around. But this thing now has headlights. It's legal again, and this is holiday weekend, so they're going to be looking for people breaking the law, having roadblocks everywhere. So maybe this will do for a day or 2 on this car. It actually wasn't that hard. It's about like putting headlights in one of them little Chevy Cobalts or Malibus. You have to take the whole bumper cover off, but on the Malibus you have to take the bumper cover and headlight out just to change the bulbs. At least this one you can pull the inner fender loose, reach in behind it and change the bulb, and not have to take the whole inner fender off. I don't know why the little Cobalts and Malibus were like that, but you just can't, there's nowhere to reach the bulb. You can't in this car either. It's made the same under the hood. It stays nasty. But you can, at least you can get to it from the inner fender. You can't do that on the other cars. But there it is. We're going to have more probably on this car. We still got the Comet we're working on. We're waiting on parts. I ordered all the parts on the Comet from Rock Auto. And the brakes come in. I ordered 9-inch brakes. They sent me 10-inch brakes. They won't fit. And I don't know if the wheel cylinders are going to work or not. This is messy right here, but the seal looks like it's going to work, but the brake shoes definitely won't work. They won't fit that in there. They're for 10-inch drums. What a mess. That's all I got for you guys. I do appreciate you dropping by. Please subscribe. Don't cost you nothing, and it helps me out immensely. And hit the notification bell. You can see when we drop another video. I don't do them that often, but I'm trying to do them more consistently on Sundays and Mondays anyway. Try to do them on one of those days. But thanks for stopping by, and hopefully we'll see you guys at the Heavy Equipment Show in Louisville on September 30th. Thanks a lot for watching. Stay clean, everybody.